Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna. Jayam Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotaya Sadishla A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Shishi Gaurnitai Ki Shishi Krishna Balaram Ki Shishi Radha Govardhana Dari Ki Nu Govardhan Dham Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Harinama Sankirtanam Ki Brihat Madanga Ki Agauda Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namani Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Vicharane Nirvasesh Sunyavadi Pastacharya Shatani. Hare Krishna. Which verse? Okay, very good. Hare Krishna. Well, nice to be back in New Govardhan and seeing some new faces, because to myself, nice to see some of you young devotees here. I think some of you are in the yoga village. Who's in the yoga village? Anybody living in the yoga village? You are living in the yoga village? Any ladies living in the yoga village? What is it? Krishna Pad, is that it? Krishna Pad. Krishna Pad, where is he? Where's Krishna Pad? Is he here? Huh? Who's living in Krishna Pad? Anybody? You're living? Where are you from? Melbourne. Oh, you're local. Anyone else? Krishna Pad. Where are you ladies from? You're from Australia? Sydney? Switzerland? Really? Switzerland. Wow, wonderful. Haribol. And? Pardon? Netherlands, all the way from Europe. Wonderful, wonderful. Anybody else visiting? Rishi's father and mother are here from London. And who else is here? Here we have Masikananda, he's from New Zealand. Kamala Lochan, he's from Mauritius, but living in Melbourne. Anyone else coming from a far distant place? From where? Argentina. Oh, wonderful. Nice. Are you living here? Nice. Wonderful. At the moment, yeah. Wonderful. Brisbane, he's from Brisbane. Not so far away. Wonderful enthusiasm. Yes, Ravi. Oh, you're going home. Where's your home? Oh, the spiritual world. Oh my goodness. Where's that? Is it left or right out the front gate? Where's the spiritual world? Right here. This is the spiritual world. All depends on our consciousness. It's not so much of a geographical location, so to speak. You can't measure the spiritual world. You know. We measure everything, how far away, how far is Netherlands away from here? How far is Brisbane away from here? Oh, Melbourne, wherever we're from. We measure it, but Bhaktisiddhanta, one of our previous great acharyas in our recent history, said that which can be measured is Maya. You can't measure spirit. If you can measure it, it's Maya. Even the spiritual life, when you measure your advancement, that means there's a degree of Maya involved. Some degree is there. So Sarabi is taking us all back to Godhead. Yay! Back home. We used to sing in the kirtans in the 70s. One time it became a fashion throughout ISKCON, We're going home, back to Godhead. I don't know if you sang that here in Australia, but in London, Pushta Krishna Swami at the time, used to sing it every evening arti. Play the gong, bong, bong. We're going home, bong, bong. Back to Godhead, bong, bong. Like this. It's kind of, what to say, childlike, I could say, simplistic. It's kind of easy to go back to Godhead, but it's not as easy as it sounds. So today we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam. We've just come from Melbourne yesterday. Wonderful temple established by Srila Prabhupada back in the mid-70s. So today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Which verse is on the board? Or on the screen or whatever? Pardon? 37, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 21, text number 37. The title of the chapter is Conversations, or rather, Conversation between Manu and Kardama. Please repeat. Tasmin Sudanvan Ahani Bhagavan Yat Samadhishat Upayat Ashamapadam Munehe Shanta Vatasya Tat Tasmin Sadanvan Ahani Bhagavan Yat Samadhishat Upayarashamapadam Mune Shanta Vatasya Tat Tasmin Sudanvan Ahani Bhagavan Yat Samadhishat Upayad Ashamapadam Mune Shanta Vatasya Tat Tasmin Sudanvan Ahani Bhagavan Yat Samadhishat Upayat Ashamapadam Mune Shantat Vatasyatat. Tasmin Sudanvanahani. Mune Shantavatasyatat. Any ladies? Tasmin Andanvan Ahani. Bhagavan Yat Samadhishat. Ayamashama Padam. Mune Shantavatasyatat. Tasmin Sudanvan Ahani. Bhagavan Yad Samadhishat. Upayada Shama Padang. Mune Shantavatasyatat. Tasmin Sidanvan Ahani. Bhagavan Yad Samadhishat. Upayada Shama Padam. Mune Shantavatasyatat. Tasmin. On that. Sudanvan, O great bowman Vidura, Ahani, on the day, Bhagavan, the Lord, Yat, which, Samadhi Shat, foretold, Upayat, he reached, Ashramapadam, the holy hermitage, Munehe, of the sage, Shanta, completed, Pratasya, whose vows of austerity, Tat, that. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O Vidura, they reached the hermitage of the sage, who had just completed his vows of austerity on the very day foretold by the Lord. So there's no purport. We go on to text 38 and 39. Does it automatically come up here? Okay. Yasmin Bhagavato Netranyapatan Ashubindavah Kripaya Sambhardasya Prapaner Pitaya Visham Tadvai Bindusaro Nama Sarasvatya Pariplutam Punyang Shivam Vitakjalang Maharishi Gana Sevitam. Translation. This is a little high. I'm kind of having to look through the microphone to see the book. I kind of better go like this. Is it possible to put the thing down and then kind of have it up like this? The whole thing. That's fine. And then if we can angle this up a little bit, maybe, I don't know if it's needed. Translation. The holy lake, Bindu Sarovara, flooded by the waters of the river Saraswati, was resorted to by hosts of eminent sages. Its holy water was not only auspicious, but as sweet as nectar. It was called Bindu Sarovara because drops of tears had fallen there from the eyes of the Lord, who was overwhelmed by extreme compassion for the sage who had sought his protection. It sounds an attractive place, doesn't it? New Govardhana is one, materially speaking, again, measuring it, but an attractive place, isn't it? Materially, in this world. We may think, most people who come here, I remember when one sannyasi came here many years ago. He'd never been here before. He came from Vrindavan, and he was very, associated with Govardhan Hill, Krishna Lila and so on. When he came here, he said, wow, he said, now I really feel more than ever before, as if this is Govardhan, this is Govardhan. This is the spiritual world here. He really felt it. He was overawed by the beauty and the atmosphere here in New Govardhan. It was about 30, 40 years ago when I was here. So what to speak of Bindu Sarovara? You have a beautiful, I haven't seen it, but I presume you have a beautiful lake still here. Or lakes, and rivers, and valleys, and hills, and mountains, and peacocks, and all kinds of colorful birds and fruits, exotic fruits. It's a little drop of heaven has descended. Ting. So here we see that not a drop of heaven, but the drops of the Lord's eyes have descended. So we can hardly imagine how, not just beautiful from the measurable point of view, but how transcendental this place must be. Bindu Sarovara. Purport. Kardama underwent austerities to gain the causeless mercy of the Lord. And when the Lord arrived there, he was so compassionate that in pleasure he shed tears which became Bindu Sarovara. Bindu Sarovara, therefore, is worshipped by great sages and learned scholars, because according to the philosophy of the absolute truth, the Lord and the tears from his eyes are not different. That's the little difference between matter and spirit, isn't it? Our tears, although they were connected to us and they represent our emotions, but nonetheless they're different from us. But the Lord's tears are himself. They are actually his personal presence in the form of tears. Just as drops of perspiration which fall from the toe of the Lord become, is it on the board? Okay, there's no secrets here. There's nothing exciting. Nothing exciting about this. You can read it. Became the sacred Ganges. So teardrops from the transcendental eyes of the Lord became Bindu Sarovara. It's interesting how Prabhupada says here, the drops of perspiration, and not just the water that's washed the Lord's lotus feet, but the drops of perspiration from the toe, just the toe of the Lord. There must have been a pretty big toe, a lot of perspiration. It formed the sacred Ganges. It's transcendental, immeasurable. Both the transcendental entities, both are transcendental entities and are worshipped by great sages and scholars. Bindu Sarovara, Ganga, there were, I think, still going on, the Kumbh Mela in Prayag. Still going on? I think so. I don't know if all of you have heard of this festival called Kumbh Mela. Maybe you've seen it in the news. It's pretty much world news, I believe. As far as I know, in our present age, this is the biggest assembly of human beings in history. They say, not all at the same time, of course not, but as much as 400 million people over a period of weeks are attending this festival of Kumbh Mela. They're coming from all over the world, not just from India. And many people, even from Australia, America, all over, have gone, not just Indians, or many, many, many people. It's the most amazing festival in the world, you could say, in terms of its numerical presence. But most people, they don't go there for, let's say, transcendental purposes. Most of the people go there to take a dip in the river Ganga, the river Ganges. Their intention is mostly material. Get free from sinful reactions. Attain some material boon. Isn't it? Did you go, Sham? No? You didn't? Not yet. You're going? Not this time. This was the rarest one. Every 144 years. Every 144 years, this particular, whatever constellation of the stars takes place. So this is considered to be the most auspicious. Kumbh Mela, 144. You have to wait 144 years if you want to go to the next one. So it's not long. You'll have a new set of teeth by then, by the way. You'll be okay. You got a good set, are they yours? Oh, lucky man. One of the rare few. Yes, it's a very special festival, and so many incredible people come there. They're not, Prabhupada, our spiritual master, said, many yogis, they come down, they may be meditating in the Himalayas, in some holy river, branch of the Ganga, or whatever it is, Yamuna. They take a dip in the river, wherever they're meditating, and they come up in Prayag, in the river there. Prabhupada said some of them are hundreds and hundreds of years old. It means they've been in that particular body for hundreds and hundreds of years. They don't look like it, they look like young people. We're so limited in our, let's say, perception of life. Anyway, a very special place, and other people, they go there for liberation. They want to be liberated from the material world. Very common. They want liberation. People want liberation within this material world too. Nowadays, it's quite a popular thing, this liberation, that liberation, and so on. But there is no liberation in this world. It doesn't exist. We're bound up. We're bound up in the material modes of nature, controlled by time. When one bathes in the river, that's the idea that by bathing in the Ganges or Bindu Sarovar, that we become free to the reactions of our generally sinful activities. People don't generally bathe in order to become free to the reactions of their pious activities. They want the reactions. They want to enjoy. They want the fruits of their work. But those who are a little more advanced, they understand that materially, spiritually, good or bad is all external. It all means birth and death. It means bondage in this world. So they may be aspiring for liberation from this world, but even that is still self-centered. I want, I want, I want. So there's another level above that, which is the path of bhakti or devotion. Anyone, where are we here? The water of Bindu Sarovar is described here as Shivamrita Jala. Shiva means curing. Interesting. Also means auspicious. Anyone who drinks the water of Bindu Sarovar is cured of all material diseases. Wow. That's a good one, isn't it? Has anyone been to Bhuvaneshwar in Orissa? Quite a few of you. There's a lake there called Bindu Sarovar, isn't there? Yeah. You've been there? Yeah. And they say that if you drink that water, you can become cured of diseases. I don't know if there's any other qualification involved, or if that's the same Bindu Sarovar or different expansions of that same Bindu Sarovar or another Bindu Sarovar created by the tears of the Lord. Anyone who drinks the water of Bindu Sarovar is cured of all material diseases. When When we say cured of all material diseases, that's another interesting perception, isn't it? Different people would see that differently. How would somebody who wants to go back home see it? Surabi, you're one of those people who wants to go back home. What do you make of that? Cured or relieved? Relieved. Relieved of all material diseases. What does that mean? It means if you've got some disease, you've got tuberculosis, you've got COVID, you've got whatever you've got. You become cured, is that what it means? Why no one's answering? Pardon? Material desires, that's terrible. I didn't go bathing in Bindus Sarovar to get free of material desires. I went there to fulfill them. Huh? No. What is that? What are they saying over there? The cause of all suffering. Material desires. I thought that the cause was I wasn't fulfilling my material desires. Huh? Really? Oh dear. That doesn't sound very, very positive thinking. Very negative statement, I must say. Well, that depends again how we look at it, doesn't it? I mean, if we look at it from a transcendental perspective, spiritual perspective, that's a different thing. So from the material point of view, I mentioned in Melbourne, I was listening to a lecture the other day of one wonderful devotee in Mayapur festival there, and he was reading, I don't have it here, reading from the 11th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, and there was a verse there that your misery starts as soon as you try to be happy. In this world, it means, in this world. As soon as we're trying to get happiness out of this world, it's the beginning of misery. You can't avoid the nature of this world. But most people, they're just trying to improve their lot within this material world, try to enjoy this world. So, relieved of all material diseases, I think you've got the answer more or less. It's combined. Surabi, did you answer? You must be the knower of everything. You didn't get the question. Well, I didn't get the answer. The question was, what do you make of this statement of Prabhupada's here? Relieved of all material diseases. Well, you said it already. I'm asking Surabi because... You played the madanga, is that what you said? I can't hear. We're getting old, She couldn't hear the question, I couldn't hear the answer.
No, and so you might still have material diseases and you mightn't get cured of them, but if you continue on in this process, Prabhupada said, you'll go back home, back to God at the end of your life. Regardless.
And that's the cure of all material disease. You don't have a material body anymore, do you? If you don't have a material body, you don't have bodily diseases, do you? You don't even have a subtle material body. You have a spiritual subtle body. A spiritual body beyond the material one. There's no even if we are in the body, so to speak, and there's some sicknesses there, you feel it, you're not insensitive. But you're above it. You're not disturbed by it. We take shelter of Krishna. It's an incentive. We're not trying to battle against it. You may be for various practical reasons, but ultimately, no. We're just taking shelter. We see it as an opportunity to let go. Let go of this futile endeavor to try to make this material world a spiritual, to make it a kingdom of God without God. We let go of that idea. That's the cause of our being birth and death, our cause of our suffering in this world, is our intent to try to enjoy it. What's the real material disease? What's the real disease we all suffer from? Excuse me? Bodily concept of life, that's very interesting, yeah. Bodily concept of life. What does that mean? Ooh, that's pretty tough, isn't it? Identifying I am the body. Yeah, that's the cause, you could say. Prabhupada himself said this is the greatest sin of all is to identify yourself as being the body. And Prabhupada used to categorize this beyond. Of course, there are different levels there, and there are different systems in human society particularly to help us to rise above that level. But if we stick to it, thinking, I am this, I am that, this is not our real nature. As long as we don't know our real identity, we are in a diseased condition of life, or mad condition. If somebody doesn't know where they are, they're generally categorized as crazy, isn't it? Mad, I don't know what the term is nowadays. You have to be careful what you say. But generally speaking, there's some problem there. There's some imbalance of some kind. You ask someone who they are, and they say they're, I don't know, Jesus Christ. That used to be a very common one. There's something wrong up there, They're not quite there. But everyone's like that. We're identifying ourselves as being Australian or Argentinian or Dutch or Swiss or French or English or whatever it is, Kiwi, whatever we are. All misidentifications are there. And this is the disease condition. And just to change the identification in this world doesn't cure the disease at all. That's not the solution, changing from this to that. The solution is to rise above this identification, this false identity. That's our disease. These claims are accepted by great scholars and authorities and are still being acted upon, even in this fallen age of Kali. Here, in most cases, people are referring to the material disease in terms of the physical disease, sometimes subtle diseases also. But as you've rightly said, that the real disease is to bring an end. Karma, most people go there to improve their karma, but karma, Prabhupada defines karma as being activity which leads to the development of future material bodies. Any activity which creates or causes to take on a future material body is karma. There's another side you could say that from a pure devotional point of view, a devotee may be willing to, stay in this material environment to glorify Krishna. That's a different thing. From the materialistic point of view, karma is activity which causes the development of future material bodies, either this lifetime or the next. And that cycle of karma bandhana, how can we bring that? Taking a dip in the Ganges or in Bindu Sarovar with that intent certainly helps, but it's not. Generally, it's said that can take a long time. A long time. What is the best way to become freed, or the recommended way to become freed? Although that's there, we certainly do. You could say, appreciate that. But what's the way that we can really become freed of material diseases? Pardon? Let go of all material attachments, chant Hare Krishna, hearing from the saintly people. What you're doing, I don't know what you're doing right now. That depends what you're doing right now. You're looking on your mobile phone or something. No. Your mind's in another world. We're meditating on our belly or whatever it is we meditate on at this point of the day. Why doesn't he shut up? Or, I don't know what you're thinking right now. That's a good one if you're thinking like that, by the way. In a sense, you're correct, because this is one of the, it's more than one of the 5 recommended angas, isn't it? 5 activities, especially by any one of these 5. Of course, there's a quality involved, but in principle, any one of these 5, one can attain perfection. So one of them is associated with devotees, and whatever degree we're associating here. Anything else? Hey, you've got a big mouth. Give someone else a chance to speak. God. dear. Yeah. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, well, you're not hearing much back. Well, we've heard from Prabhupada, at least we heard his purport. Anything else? Yes, Ambika. Chanting the holy names, residing in the holy places. Pardon? Taking prasadam. Well, I haven't done that yet. Where is it? I'm not doing it right now. At least not that one. Maybe this one. One more, isn't there? We've got the holy place, the association, the Bhagavatam, the holy name. Huh? Serving Tulsi, but that comes into another bracket, doesn't it? That's under another bracket. That's also associated with a pure devotee. Huh? The worship in the deities. These 5 activities. Huh? All 5 are going on right now, more or less, isn't it? Hare Krishna. Okay, we chanted the holy name. Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai Radha Govardhan ki jai. All glorious to all the assembled devotees. New Govardhan Dham ki jai. All 5, huh? Amazing what Prabhupada has given us, isn't it? Isn't that incredible? Although we say he's not physically, but he's here in this way, just like the Bindu Sarovar is no different than Krishna, the tears of the Lord. This is a manifestation of Srila Prabhupada's devotion, his love, his compassion. So we have to drink this. We have to drink the Bhagavatam, the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam is heard. How do we drink the Srimad Bhagavatam? Huh? With our ears. Really? Okay. Where you coming from? That's what it says. How do you drink the Bhagavatam? With your ears. You kind of like, doesn't work. You have to eat it, not drink it. How do you drink it? Reading it? Yeah, but how do we read it? Ambika? We relish it in the heart. Huh? There's some beautiful verses. I didn't have any preparation, and I can't say where, but I think it's in the first canto, I think 7th chapter or something, describing how we drink this pibba, where's that verse go? This nectar of the Srimad Bhagavatam by oral reception. And oral reception means we really, it's like anything in this world. When you really hear it carefully, it has a kind of a very strong emotional effect in our consciousness, in our hearts. So we have to hear very carefully, if we want to actually feel that nectar in our heart. The presence of the Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. Bindu Sarovar also is form of Krishna. Ganga also a form of Krishna. But Bhagavatam is the literary form of Krishna. And we can hear it. Satamba Sangam Mama Virya Sangvido Bhavanti Vidkarna Rasaina Kataha. To hear that Bhagavat Katha in the association of devotees, submissively hearing, relishing it. It's like, chewing your food, isn't it? When you chew, we don't chew very much, but when you chew it nicely, it becomes more digestible. The subject matter should be chewed amongst the devotees. Prabhupada gave us this facility. I was reading this morning. Srila Prabhupada was saying that this movement is in teachings of Queen Kunti. He was saying, Lokapila Dev, he was saying that this movement especially is created to give the association of devotees, and in that association we can hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. We can hear Krishna Katha. All of our centers should be for that purpose, so people can come and hear this nectar, hear this transcendental, just like the tears of the Lord have descended from his lotus eyes to form this Bindu Sarovar, or to form from the perspiration from his lotus toe, anyway, has formed the river Ganges. It's transcendental. So similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam is completely transcendental, pure. And by a submissive hearing from the right source, in the right association, the transformation of our heart takes place, away from being attracted to matter, to seeing the world as a place to try to satisfy my desires. Because essentially speaking, everyone is simply trying to satisfy their desires. Everyone's trying to be happy, what we call happy. But we're just looking in, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be happy. By nature, we're all anandamaya vyasa. We're all pleasure-seeking. We're just looking in the wrong direction. We're trying to adjust that direction. The direction to look in is a different one. And that is evoked by hearing, or achieved by hearing submissively the transcendental sound vibration. That will not just cure all material diseases, but will awaken, bring us to actual health, to normal spiritual consciousness. Realizing our spiritual identity, our true identity, as Jive Srupai Nityara Krishna does, the eternal servants of Krishna. That's where real happiness, because that's a permanent state. That's the constitutional state. It is constitutional to want to be happy. We're just, looking in the wrong way. Just hearing Bhagavatam, hearing the holy name, and so helps to transform our attention, our consciousness away from matter to spirit. This all reception, but it has to be from the right source. It has to be from the right source. We have to hear it. It acts just like elixir. Elixir is like some kind of magic almost, which cures us of all kinds of ailments. So this elixir of hearing Bhagavatam cures us. Why? Because it's Krishna himself. It is Krishna. He reveals himself according to our surrender. Our surrender is to try to submissively hear Bhagavatam. We may not understand or may not be able to capture the links or what's even being said there, but gradually the purification is taking place. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the desire for material attractions, Vishaya, one is looking west, one is looking east. You can't look in both directions at the same time. Vishaya is the desire for material achievement, material pleasure, and so on. That pleasure is not that we're looking for material pleasure, we're just looking for pleasure. It can be fully satisfied in connection with Krishna. And there is no reaction, there's no future material body. There's another difference between what they call mundane rasa, or mundane taste, and bhakti rasa, or spiritual taste. Spiritual taste is everlasting, it's unending, it's unlimited, it's constitutional, it's fully satisfying. Material one only very, very measurable, very limited by time, by place, by the degree of pleasure, and so on. Okay, well, we're finished there. Are there any questions? Yes. Is that your question? Does anyone else have any questions? That was a very philosophical question, I must say. I don't know if I can answer that.
I have many questions, Maharaj. Thank you.
Many questions, oh my goodness.
But I'll start with this one. So if we're not feeling that pleasure from Krishna, how can we get a quick fix?
If we're not feeling
If we're not feeling the pleasure from Krishna,
how do you get a quick fix?
Yeah.
Are there any gulabs for breakfast this morning? Sometimes that's the answer, isn't it? You get down, you get in a situation sometimes, and it's a fact, we're neophytes, we're not on the transcendental platform. These questions are from our point of view. Sometimes you do resort to that, you just dive in. Prabhupada, in the beginning of ISKCON movement in New York, he had a big bucket of gulabs in the corner, and you could help yourself anytime you wanted to gulabs. Okay, it's not exactly a permanent, it's related. A quick fix, but you may feel good for a little while at least. At least it keeps you going. The Sunday feast There's another one. I don't know your Sunday feasts here, what they're like. I have no idea. But the Sunday feast, and any Ambika, Sarabi, anyone who was around in the early 70s will remember the Sunday feasts. Because all week long it was quite austere. I mean, we hear you underwent austerities to gain the causeless mercy of the Lord. So quite austere during the week in terms of eating, comparatively speaking, and very simple during the week. And the same thing every day. Nothing really. I mean, it's blissful, but materially, measurably, very simple. Just rice and dal every day. That's all we used to have for lunch. Rice, dal, and chapatis. No vegetables. Every day of the week, 6 days a week. And on Sunday, it was like, complete turnaround. The Sunday feast was just like out of this world. Out of this world. I mean, pushpan rice was like the simplest preparation on the menu. If you know what pushpan rice is. I don't think they both make it very much now. I don't know. It's like you can just eat pushpan rice and your mouth is watering. It's just incredible. You tell us, Rabbi, what's pushpan rice?
Pushpana rice is
Easy.
colourful rice.
Huh?
A colourful rice, and it's got lots of like little pieces of curd in there, little peas, carrot, corn.
Nice paneer, fried paneer.
Yeah.
Paneer's in there. Oh,
Paneer,
little, very, very fragrant. Very fragrant. All types of sweet spices.
Yeah.
And everything, little bits of some nuts or raisins and fried slivers of chips, of potatoes, all kinds of sweet, nice delicacies. It's just like a meal to itself, And that was like the simple preparation. You're very familiar with, Meat Eater's Delight. You call it Meat Eater's Delight? Mahabrinjal, with lots of curd, everything fried and deep fried. And it's like, the boys would fight with each other over these things. Samosas, fantastic samosas. There would never be a feast without samosa. And halva, which is just like bursting. It's like exploding halva. It's like just incredible. And chutney made. We would start cooking on Monday for the Sunday feast. Whoever was doing the Sunday feast, on Monday you start planning it. We had no money, no boga, so you start planning it on Monday and try to find people who could donate, and then start cooking on Thursday at the latest. At the latest. Gulabs would be made, chutneys Friday would be made so they could be really, what do you say, full. Then you make your laddus. And the sweet rice we cook for 8-9 hours, just cooking sweet rice overnight on Saturday night, stirring and then leaving it on a very low heat overnight, so it's just like cream in the morning. And I'm getting excited. You give me a quick fix here, I'm getting excited. I'm going to go and take my kitchery. For the Sunday feast was nobody would leave the temple. And if you're going to leave, we used to call it bloop. I don't know if you have that word anymore. Nobody would bloop on Friday or Saturday. Bloop day was Monday. Monday was bloop day. You couldn't bloop on Sunday. You were too stoned, on the feast. You're too intoxicated on the feast. You're kind of. So Monday was the bloop day. If anyone's going to leave. The Sunday feast was just like, everyone will look forward to it. The whole preaching during the week was, come for the Sunday feast, come for the Sunday feast, come for the Sunday feast. It was like, people would just like only come for the Sunday feast, of course, but the devotees would be so enthusiastic. Every single devotee was there, whatever, preach, if that's not the right word nowadays, but that was the word used. Preaching or talking to the guests, looking after the guests, serving the guests. It was a festival. And devotees it was so blissful. Quick fix. How can we get a quick fix? You want a quick fix? Is that where it is? This is Kali Yuga, isn't it? Everyone wants a quick fix. Instant. Give me instant. Instant. Stay high forever. Give it me now. I want it now. I want to see God now. I want the bliss now. So, Goku, you're a wise man. How can she get a quick fix? She wants a quick fix. Sorry? Pardon? Pardon? I can't. How can you get a quick fix? She wants a quick fix. Quick fix. Relax, she said, relax. It doesn't sound very exciting. Not a bad idea. Anyone else? How can we get a... Yes, Ambika.
Nectar of devotion is always wonderful, or a Krishna book story, or Chaitanya Bhagavat, just some nectar, and it kind of gets you going again. Just to
Gets you going again. Dive into Chaitanya Bhagavat. Yes.
Go out on Harinam.
Going on Harinam. Of course, not everybody would feel the same way about that. Sometimes we have a different... But yes, you have to see what picks you up. What is it that picks you up? Maybe it's by talking to a devotee, hearing a lecture, opening the Bhagavad Gita, filling yourself up with gulab jamans, whatever it is. Something. Going on Harinam. Relaxing. Listening to Mozart. What do you do when you relax? You don't. You heard that one. Now we know. You didn't hear the other one. You heard that one. That speaks for itself, boy. Huh? What did he say? Anything else on how we can get a quick fix? Pray. Huh? Service. Just do something. Do some service. Yeah. You know, I mean, we've all gone through different stages in our lives where you go ups and downs. Everyone does. Different degrees, right? Sometimes you get different emotional responses from situation. We find yourself in, sometimes we get a little depressed. I know whatever that means. We get a little depressed. I've had that experience on many occasions in my life. And it's previously, and it's like I would resort usually to something I like doing. And try to do that in relationship with Krishna. It's something useful for Krishna consciousness. It might be gardening. It might be cooking. Yeah. In my case, it was mostly looking after the finances, the temple finances, or the sanctum finances. Immediately, I feel completely, tuned in. You're doing something useful. Do something useful. Then Krishna reciprocates. Anything else? Listen to Prabhupada lectures, yeah. That's mentioned earlier, listening to lectures. Yeah, just hearing from the pure devotee. Many times devotees were going to Prabhupada's rooms with whom, a full suitcase of problems, doesn't it? And you couldn't open the bag. It's like if you open the bag, but there was nothing in there when you sat in front of Prabhupada. There was no problem in the bag at all. Immediately, it's like all your problems were gone in the association of a pure devotee. You realize, what is all these problems? All these problems are things we see when we lose sight of the goal. The real fix is to fix somehow or another, to focus our consciousness on the goal, on Krishna. When difficulties are there, we also, a little note I've read this morning, Prabhupada said, these are wonderful opportunities when there are difficulties and challenges in our lives to really take shelter of Krishna. There are different ways of looking at it. And anything else? I don't know if any of those things are sufficient for you. You may have tried them all, none of them worked. Surrender, just surrender, give it up.
I have a little story. One man came to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati.
Where?
One man, he came to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And he said, Maharaj, I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, we're short in the kitchen today, would you mind going and helping? And then after that, I'll answer the question. And Bhaktisiddhanta, next day the man came again. And he said, look, today we're short in the kitchen again, do you mind going there and helping? And then the next day, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, now I'll answer your question. He said, you don't have to, Maharaj. While I was serving in the kitchen, the answer came to me.
All the answers came. Yeah, he was the Vice Chancellor of the Benares University Sanskrit Department. I told the same story 2 days ago. Amazing, huh? Must be something about that particular aspect. Huh? Just by rendering service, all the questions can be answered. So what service you all going to do now? Who is the temple commander? Just engage everyone. All their questions will be answered. Are you the temple commander? No, okay. Could be or should be. You should be, okay. I'll say no more. Yes. Of course, there's the mercy of the pure devotees. He knows what that person needs. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, I'm busy right now, but you can go and see the pujari or the cook or whatever it was. And then he engaged him. And they also said, I'm a little busy right now, but if you can help me in the kishik, that would be nice. And the man was a little humble. The secret is humility. Humility. That we actually do want. We don't want the kingdom of God without God. You don't want to eat the cake without baking the cake. You know, you have a little bit of humility there. And that's how Bhagavad Gita manifested by Arjuna's humility. Anything else? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Sweet as nectar. The holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now there's a feast for everybody, is it? Pushpan rice and mahabrinjal and sweet rice and gulabs and samosas, tomato chutney and plum chutney and... Radha's cooking. He's coming to France to cook there for the 50th anniversary. Hey, you're going to come, right? Great, all come. Have a festival there. Come and